exciting men's semifinals at the 2020 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Basketball Championships. We turn to women's action. Two semifinals tonight. Leading off the twin bill, Western Washington University, the 3 seed, gets to take a look tonight at the number 2 seeded Nighthawks from Northwest Nazarene University. Welcome to Royal Brougham Pavilion at Seattle Pacific University. I'm Robert Lowry, Dustin Daniel alongside, and as we have talked about throughout this 2020 Great Northwest Athletic Conference tournament, two equally matched teams here that split the season series, Western Washington and Northwest Nazarene. And again, as the men's action has been tight, the women's action tonight probably going to be equally as tight. And Western Washington, coming off a victory yesterday, taking on a Northwest Nazarene team, had the opportunity to get that night off, and we'll see, as it did not play any advantage to Seattle Pacific, if it gives Northwest Nazarene a little bit of an edge tonight.
Yeah, Western Washington got to get in their polish yesterday. Very tough Yellow Jacket team. They gave them some trouble. Final score doesn't really indicate how tough that game was. Western Washington ends up winning by 15, but pulls away at the end of that when MSUB did give them a fight. In this first matchup of our women's session tonight, we get to see two of the top offenses in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference. No one scores more points than Western Washington. NNU not far behind at the 3 spot. And that showed in the first matchup that they had this season, going back to the first, which the Vikings won, by the way, because they did split this season series, going back to January 18th. It was in Nampa, no less. 94 points the Vikings were able to put on the board against the Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks. And then in Bellingham, it was actually NNU getting the better of Western Washington. They came a little bit back down to earth as far as scoring in that game, 79-72, the final. So, on the docket for this one, expecting a lot of scoring. Both teams able to shoot very well, and they're also two of the best shooting teams as far as field goal percentage, as you would imagine, with that scoring to go along with it. Whose defense will step up here today? That could be the difference in this one.
Well, not only are these two of the top scoring teams, they're two very different teams. Maybe the best women's combination of the backcourt performers in the conference, as the Player of the Year, Avery Albrecht for Northwest Nazarene, teams up with second-teamer Marina Baez in the backcourt for Northwest Nazarene. And for Western Washington, we saw it last night, powerful inside game. Anna Schwecke, Kelsey Rogers doing a nice job on the inside, and Emma Duff also can play inside and outside. But I think Western Washington really probably has the best of it, you would think, on the inside and maybe on the perimeter, to take nothing away from the Western Washington University backcourt of Lexi Bland and Avery Dykstra, but maybe that's where Northwest Nazarene is stronger this year.
Yeah, you're talking about the front court of Western Washington. They started off this GNAC Championship extremely well. Emma Duff, you mentioned in there, goes for a double-double yesterday, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and then we look at the backcourt of NNU, their leading scorer, Maria Valles, averaging over 18 points a game so far this season. They do have a little bit more offensively savvy guards, while, it's going to be a little bit more of the ground and pound from the post for Western Washington, going to Duff, going to Schwecke. Castaneda, don't forget about her, having a huge second half yesterday to help the Vikings get that win over MSUB.
So Northwest Nazarene on the inside with two new faces this year, playing a lot and playing well, Erin Jenkins and Claire Eubanks. And they have some size. Jenkins at 6 feet, and Eubanks at 6'1". Albrecht, the Player of the Year, at 5'10". And one of the differences between the two games, and you talked about the fact that Western won the first, Albrecht had a subpar game for her, only 5 of 12 from the field in that first game, just 13 points. But in the meeting in Bellingham, and again, this is a series that was split with the road teams coming out victorious. Western 94-83, as you mentioned, in Nampa, and Northwest Nazarene 79-72 in Bellingham. And that night, well, it was certainly a different Avery Albrecht, 8 of 17 from the field, but she scored 26 points, grabbed 11 rebounds in that game. And she certainly, I would believe, proved to be the difference in that contest with the double-double. So it's going to be interesting to see Albrecht, Player of the Year. And again, Schwecke, a first-teamer for Western Washington University. And could be Western Washington advancing to the championship. They'd like to follow their men who advanced earlier tonight to take on the University of Alaska Anchorage in the championship of the men's side tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. But Northwest Nazarene, last year's champion, as the Seattle Pacific men were before being knocked out. Northwest Nazarene looking to make it 2 straight titles in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference. But in order to do that, they'll need a victory over Western Washington tonight. There's a good look at some of the Northwest Nazarene players warming up ahead of tonight's contest. Northwest Nazarene, number 2. And this is interesting because last year they came into the tournament at number 2. They advanced to the championship against top-seeded University of Alaska Anchorage, and they won in Bellingham. I'll tell you, UAA, they would like to do nothing better than to get a victory and maybe against Northwest Nazarene to take the title this year. But we've got 2 games ahead of that, in Central Washington taking on University of Alaska Anchorage in the nightcap here tonight. So we've got some exciting basketball still to be played here this evening.
Looking at the matchup and the experience that Northwest Nazarene has had, those players that are returning this year, they not only had a chance to play for and win a GNAC championship last year, they got themselves to the West Regional Semifinal, where they also ran into, again, Alaska Anchorage. The Seawolves would get the better of them this time. However, a lot of new faces on this NNU team. They got 6 freshmen on this roster right now. Still able to keep up that win total, however. 22-6 their overall record this season. So a lot of new faces that are going to have to rely on the more experienced players, those juniors and seniors that have been around the block for the Nighthawks already, to see exactly how things change here in the postseason, because it's not the same kind of game. There's a different feel to it. Emotionally, you come in a little bit more ready to go, because you have those nerves, you have that anticipation for getting on the floor on this kind of a stage. And those younger players, those 6 freshmen, are going to have to rely on the leadership of NNU to make sure they stay calm, cool, and collected. Now on the other side, Western Washington, a little bit more experienced as far as returners. You look up and down their roster, they only have 1 freshman there. So you come postseason, things change a little bit. That might go in favor of the Vikings.
Well, Northwest Nazarene, as you mentioned, a young squad. Matter of fact, the player of the year, the only senior on this squad, and Avery Albrecht. So she is leading a Nighthawks team that really has overcome youth inexperience to come up with the 22-6 mark, 17-3 in Great Northwest Athletic Conference play. Good for second place in the conference race. Western Washington right now sitting at 21-8, and they were 14-8 in the GNAC, or 14-6, I should say, in the GNAC during the regular season, splitting the games between these 2 opponents that we'll see on the floor for the rubber match here tonight. Just a couple of minutes ago, you got a good look at Steve Shaw, the head coach of Northwest Nazarene University, and he has really done a tremendous job with this Northwest Nazarene team. And again, taking one that was quite experienced last year and taking this year's team, which is quite inexperienced, and turning them into a title contender once again.
There's a big difference when you look at the coaching matchup here. Inexperience, but as far as wins, not as much. Carmen Dolfo, who you see there as the officials make their way to the floor, 29 years deep at the helm of the Vikings, and as you said, just 4 years deep for Steve Steele on the other side. But there's been a lot of success out in Nampa, Idaho these last few seasons, so it took very little time for Steele and his crew of coaches to hit the ground running.
Interestingly, last year, Western Washington University not in the women's championship or in the women's tournament last year that was played in Carver Gym in Bellingham. Northwest Nazarene, actually, let me double check. Now, I think I've misspoken there, and I want to make sure I say this right. Last year up in Carver Gym in Bellingham, Western Washington was the 6th seed last year, and they knocked off Simon Fraser in the first round, 72-69. Central Washington beat Concordia to advance. So the 2 teams that won yesterday have advanced again today, as they did 1 year ago. Now, last year in the semifinals, Anchorage knocked off Central Washington, as we have that rematch coming up, 70-52. Northwest Nazarene last year in this matchup. Knocked off Western Washington 83-78. So it's how interesting how things change, how much they stay the same, as we have the same pairings this year as we had last year. And then in the championship tilt last year, Northwest Nazarene beat Alaska Anchorage by 4, but as you mentioned, they had a rematch a little bit later. So again, we have got the same semis as we had 1 year ago, and the first one of them tonight is going to feature Northwest Nazarene against Western Washington University. We're going to go ahead and introduce the starting lineups here in just a couple of moments. The starters now coming your way. First of all, for Western Washington University, and well, there's the first starter of the night, Emma Duff, 6-foot junior from Tumwater. And here is Kelsey Rogers, part of that inside presence, 6'1 junior from Bothell. Anna Schwecke is the post and the first team all GNAC, 6'3 senior from Evergreen, Colorado. And here's the backcourt. First of all, Avery Dykstra, 5'10, a sophomore from Everson, and a senior, 5'6 out of Ellensburg, Lexi Bland. Those are the 5 for Carmen Dolfo, the 2002, 2006, 2011, and 2013 GNAC Coach of the Year. Now for Northwest Nazarene. The first player introduced is the Conference Player of the Year, 5'10", Avery Albrecht from La Grande, Oregon. This is Aaron Jenkins, 6-foot sophomore from Lompoc, California. And the other up front player, just a freshman out of Pasco, Claire Eubanks, 6'1 freshman. Here's the other half of that all-star backcourt combination, Marina Valles, 5'10 junior out of Barcelona, Spain. And the final starter, Emerson McKenna, 5'10 redshirt freshman out of Eagle, Idaho for Steve Shaw. Fourth campaign, 85 victories, 29 defeats. Carmen Dolph on the flip side, as we mentioned, as you mentioned, 29 years in the league, including as coach, but then you can add some more as an assistant and as a player at Western Washington. 611 wins. She went over 600 wins this year, 244 defeats for Carmen Dolfo at Western Washington University. Officiating crew tonight, Brad Schmidt, Michael Thormer, and Maggie DeWall. It is Northwest Nazarene in the white, Western in the blue. Ball in the air, tip in the backcourt, and the Vikings will have the basketball to begin tonight's action, hitting left to right on the screen. Down low, that's Rogers getting post position, scores it right away. Well, we talked about it. Inside presence for Western, really a key.
Looking back to yesterday's matchup against MSUB, Rogers able to put up a good performance. She had 8 points, another 3 rebounds, 24 minutes of work.
Baez wearing the spectacles outside, moves to the free throw line. Right side, Albrecht, she shoots the long 3 and misses it, or make that Emerson. McKenna Emerson missed the 3. And the ball out of bounds, so it goes back over to Western Washington, and a foul as well, as the foul is called on Emerson. First foul of the night against Northwest Nazarene. Western with the basketball, facing a little bit of full court pressure defense. Inbounds to Duff. It's nice to have a player of her size who can play inside, also handle a basketball. Gets it off, though, to Bland, quarterback in the squad. Off to the near side, Dykstra. Down low, Rogers going to work again on Baez. Lays it up, misses the shot. Schwecke had the rebound, but it lost it and picked up now by Albrecht. Down floor, Avery, left corner. They work to Baez on the angle left. She's going to go at Rogers the other way. Goes inside, left-hander off the window for 2. So quickness on one end and size on the other.
Yeah, a little defensive breakdown there for Western Washington. Marina Vai is able to scoop by everyone. No help defense to follow on the post. Turns into an easy layup.
Albrecht misses the shot, bounced on the short side, bounced on the far side, and the rebound to the Nighthawks. Quickly down floor, Emerson drives inside, lays it up, overshoots it, and then a foul called inside. Block charge call situation there, and it's going to be a blocking foul against Western Washington University, I believe. Yeah, Emma Duff picks up her first, so each team with one foul here. There's the drive by Emerson. And you could see that Duff was clearly inside that restricted area. Free throw by Emerson is up and good. McKenna Emerson, in the last meeting of these two teams, had 8 points, and she's got 2 here right now. So not a bad start for one of the youngsters on this Northwest Nazarene University squad.
Well, as Duff picks up the first foul of the game, we have to think back to the foul trouble we saw yesterday. Schwecke fouling out, Duff, Rogers getting into trouble, Bland out as well.
Well, quickly down floor, that is Rogers getting another bucket on the inside. So it looks like Western wants to take advantage, at least try, of Kelsey Rogers' size and strength on the inside. Baez, they work the ball near side to Emerson. She'll slash in underneath the hoop. Reverse lane comes up a bit short. Rebound taken down by Duff. Baseball's up the side court to Bland. She attacks, goes in, left-hander off the glass, bounces around, no good. Rebound taken down by Eubanks, the freshman out of Pasco, Washington. Baez forecourt to a backdoor cutting Albrecht, and a blocking foul on the missed shot. That's going to go on Rogers. And you can see the pass here, nice little lob pass inside, and Albrecht puts a shot up, bounced off the back rim, but she'll go to the free throw line and have the opportunity to shoot 2 times right here for Avery Albrecht.
Well, a second trip to the free throw line here in the first 2 minutes, 19 seconds for NNU.
Albrecht in a earlier contest back there from the free throw line. 7 of 7 in Bellingham. And against Western down there in Nampa. She also had a good night at the free throw line as well, as she was 3 of 4. So 10 of 11 in this series, now 11 of 12. And 12 of 13 as she hits them both. So 6-4 now, Northwest Nazarene with the lead. Here's a slashing drive by Albrecht to the baseline right. Leaves behind her to Bland in the corner. Ball tipped away and a steal made. Here is Baez down floor. Marina kicks right. Albrecht 3 on the way. Bounce rim goes over the rim and taken down by Schwecke. Strong rebound by the Western Washington University post. Bland attacks, and she has the ball stripped away from her by Albrecht. Great defensive play to Baez. Speeds up the floor. Stutter step. And her shot is blocked, and a foul called there on Duff. So that is the second on Duff.
That's big here in the first 3
sure
minutes.
Is.
And head coach Carmen Dolfo has got to be thinking not again, as her team peppered with fouls yesterday. So they're used to having to adjust the rotation given yesterday's game, but getting a player like Duff 2 fouls here in the first 3 minutes, that's a big blow for the Vikings early on.
Baez hits the first free throw. Haley Hansen checks in as Emerson steps out for Northwest Nazarene. And there's going to be a change made here as Duff is going to have to come out. And it's going to be Gracie Castaneda coming in, but not there as the free throw is missed. Down floor come the Vikings. And Bland again handles. Quarterbacks the squad, the senior, the floor general. Ball tipped away. Baez knocked it away from Duff, who now checks out, and there's Castaneda coming in. Gracie played well yesterday, 5'8" junior out of Arlington. So she stayed fairly close to home to play collegiately. Inbounds Black.
Offering a lot of big production off of the bench yesterday, especially in the second half for Western Washington. Looked to be a big reserve force.
Schwecke goes across the key, gets bumped and fouled by Eubanks, her first. Also off the bench for Western Washington at University. Katrina Jamaica is in there, sophomore from Everson, and now a change by the Nighthawks as well. As Nicole Gall, another freshman out of Pasco. She was a competitor, not a teammate of Eubanks. They played at competing high schools. Gall at Richland and Eubanks at Chiawana. Schwecke hits the first free throw, second one up. She shoots them quickly, as you mentioned yesterday, and she hits them both. 7-6, Nighthawks with the basketball and the lead. Albrecht and Western now in a little bit of a 2-3 zone, but they're trying to double up out of that zone if they can. Pass in the lane, down the lane, up and under with the left hand off the window. That is Gall. Nice job by Nicole Gall, 5'9" freshman, as we mentioned, working on the inside. And here's a ball tipped away. Northwest Nazarene, maybe not quite the pressure that University of Alaska Anchorage likes to apply, but boy, they like to apply pressure defense too. Valles, runner, bounces off the back rim, and Schwecke sweeps the glass clean. First quarter, inside 6 minutes. Boy, there's a bang play as Valles and Bland crash together. Look at Bland coming down floor and Valles on the retreat. Valles steps in front of Bland, but Valles was moving. And with that, Marina picks up her second personal foul. So each team with a starter and a key performer with 2 fouls here in this first quarter. Jamaica takes it to the left. Schwecke falls down as she got tangled up on the inside. Castaneda, corner right. Bland 3, over the rim, no good. Offensive rebound taken and a foul called on the inside. I think it was Dykstra who got the rebound on the inside and the foul called against Northwest Nazarene. Already their 4th team foul here with 5:38 left in the first. And that foul is on Northwest Nazarene's Nicole Gall. Free throw, Albrecht, good.
That's a lot of time.
Make that Dykstra.
That'll be Western Washington with a lot of time in the penalty, and 5:38 still left to play here in the first quarter.
Next one down the bottom of the well is Well, and it's 9-8 Northwest Nazarene. Down floor, Hansen had it, gets it back, comes around a screen set by Eubanks. Spins, takes it in the lane, puts up a quick shot and airballs it off right as Jamaica was there defensively and did a nice job. Bland out of backcourt with the basketball. Comes to Castaneda. Baseline right, Jamaica. She misses the shot and the rebound taken by the Nighthawks. Rebound by the freshman there, and she gets it off to the senior player of the year, Avery Albrecht. Crossover step on Bland, goes inside, strong shot, and she's fouled. Well, Albrecht really has a little bit of a size advantage there. Bland at 5'6", and Albrecht at 5'10", and we've come to a timeout on the floor. 4:57 left in this opening quarter of play. Again, a single-digit game. Northwest Nazarene 9, Western Washington 8 here on GNAC.TV. Here's a Western basket by Rogers earlier this half on a nice feed by Bland. At the free throw line, Avery Albrecht, who was fouled as we went into that last timeout. When you talk about, and here's the first free throw, good, conference statistics only this year, Northwest Nazarene was the highest scoring team in the conference at 78 points a game. Western not far behind at 75. So a high scoring game probably can be expected here tonight.
And we saw that when they matched up in Nampa, over 90 points in that game.
Yes.
For the Vikings, 83 for NNU.
Ball knocked away from a driving Western player that time. It'll stay in the possession of the Vikings in the dark blue uniforms. Couple of substitutions off the bench for Northwest Nazarene. Emerson back in, and also Emma Clark coming in. Or make that Jordan Pinson, 5'4" sophomore out of El Paso, Texas. Been there. Far side, Jamaica behind the arc, shoots the three, misses it, rebound tipped around, scramble underneath the Vikings basket, held ball situation, alternating possession. It is going to be Northwest Nazarene ball.
So with 4 fouls aside right now here in the opening quarter, if this gets into a free throw game, because we have at this point already seen 8 free throws for NNU, 12 total in the game. That's going to go in favor of Western Washington. They've been a pretty solid free throw shooting team this year. NNU has struggled at the stripe.
Yeah.
Second worst mark at the free throw line in the conference, only shooting 66.3% as a team there. So if this continues with this clip as far as fouls, Western Washington going to be the beneficiary.
Here's Pinson, shot clock at 3, hoisting up a long one, Emerson air ball. It'll be a shot clock violation. Back over to Western Washington with 4 minutes even sitting on the clock. Kelsey Rogers back in, 2 fouls and all. You surprised?
I am. I did not think we would see Rogers or Duff again in this first quarter. And on the other side for NNU, didn't think and we haven't seen Baez yet. So
Dykstra, backcourt, comes across the timeline, head of steam, off right, working inside, ball tipped away, picked up. Rogers, jumper in the lane, good.
And as we revisit the numbers, Kelsey Rogers actually only at 1 foul right now. It's only Duff that's got the 2. So I don't think we will see Duff or Vias, the 2 with the 2 personal fouls, again in this first quarter.
Emerson with a roller that rims in and out. And for Western Washington, into the forecourt, Molly Olson. They swing it into the right corner, and Rogers hits another.
She's 3 for 4, 6 points already in just 3 minutes of play.
Well, for the Nighthawks, a jumper on the baseline left is up and good by Nicole Gall. The pace of this game is furious. Western expended a lot of energy against Montana State Billings and maybe Northwest Nazarene, and this is their style certainly, but maybe they're trying to see what kind of legs Western has left tonight. Dykstra to Jamaica. Down low, Castaneda open, had a shot, made a tougher shot on herself, went underneath the hoop, got a rebound though. Rogers baseline left, good again.
That's going to be the play every time until NNU can figure out a way to stop her. Rogers already with 8 points.
Rogers is playing lights out of basketball here today. Out high, Pinson, she'll back it back out on the guard of Olson. Hand off to Emerson. McKenna gets it down low. Going to work on the inside and getting tied up and losing the basketball on the inside was Eubanks. Held the ball, and this time it'll go back to Western Washington. Substitutions each way off the bench for the Vikings. Monique Fierke, and I'm not so sure we saw Monique yesterday. Also back in, Lexi Bland. And for Northwest Nazarene off the bench, Zoe Wessels, 5'11 redshirt junior. Council, Idaho is where she hails from.
Looking also at the numbers of Fierke on the season.
And on the inbounds, a miscue by Western, and the ball back over to Northwest Nazarene.
Well, Fierke did not play yesterday, to answer your question. She's played in a little over half of the games that Western Washington has had this season, averaging about 8 minutes.
Runner on the left baseline by Clark, one of those freshmen, and she gets it to drop, and Northwest Nazarene regains the lead. Bland into the forecourt for the Vikings. Slows it down just a little bit as Northwest Nazarene, man-to-man defense. Head of the circle, the Vikings move it to the left. That is Bland. It goes baseline, double team comes, lost the ball, gets it into the corner. Rogers steps in, long baseline jumper. Missed that one, the rebound tipped, and a rebounding foul called. Actually, a Northwest Nazarene player went down, and I think banging that right knee on the hardwood was Aaron Jenkins. So Jenkins stays down for just a moment at the 137 mark in his 15-14 affair here at Royal Brougham Pavilion. With the stoppage in play, let's go ahead and step aside for this break. You're watching exclusive coverage of the 2020 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Men's and Women's Basketball Championships here on GNAC.TV. Northwest Nazarene with the basketball. Off the bench for Northwest Nazarene, Gall is back in. As the injury to Jenkins takes her to the bench at least momentarily.
As she heads back to the trainer's table, going to get looked at a little bit more. I don't think it'll end her day.
Jumper on the baseline missed by Northwest Nazarene. Scramble for the loose ball. Boy, oh boy. I tell you, this is a little bit reminiscent of last year's championship game in terms of the bodies on the floor between UAA and NNU. Western and the Nighthawks tangling here as Northwest Nazarene brings off the bench Avery Albrecht, player of the year once again, as she replaces Gall. Throwing from the baseline. Emerson gets it in the left corner, penetrates, in the lane. You got to do something with the basketball. You're in there way too long. 3 seconds plus, and the turnover goes back to Western. Katrina Jamaica there for a moment. You saw her barking out some encouragement to her Viking teammates. Here's Castaneda. Double team comes, lobs cross the midcourt line. They get it down low right to the Vikings. Back out to Olsen, cross court. Well, open for a moment there for Western Washington was Fierke. Gets in the lane for Rogers. She misses it. Swooping in for the rebound was Schwecke, and she was fouled.
Well, Schwecke a big height advantage on the floor right now. No one else within 3 or 4 inches of her. It should be turning into a lot of boards for her.
It should be. When Western won at Nampa earlier this year, that started the Vikings on a 6-game winning streak, as a matter of fact, and that was their longest win streak of the year, though they did win 5 of 6 to end the season. Free throws make the score now 15 all as we're inside the final now 30 seconds of this opening quarter. Albrecht, Pinson, back to Albrecht, head of the key right. Gonna move in, take it underneath with a left-hander, comes up a little bit short. Rebound tipped out of bounds off a Western player, 18 seconds left. And Northwest Nazarene with the basketball. Shot clock now off. There's Steve Shaw. Good look at the NNU coach, who is right in front of us here at courtside inbounds. Quick shot on the baseline, no good, but tipped up and in. The Albrecht miss, tipped up and in by Emerson. And a near steal on the inbounds as well by Northwest Nazarene. 8 seconds left in the opening quarter. And there's Cameron Dolfo.
McKenna Emerson all alone on that left block on the follow. Has crashed the boards. Opportunities are going to follow, and Emerson able to pick up a couple easy points.
Castaneda, far side. And here is a drive and an offensive foul with 2.1 seconds remaining. Boy, that is a little bit of a maybe mistake there by Western, as Monique Fierke has good defensive positioning there by Zoe Wessels. And now with 1 second left, well, Northwest Nazarene, Pinson not able to get the ball down floor. So one in the books here at Seattle Pacific University 2020 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Women's Semi number 1. It is number 2 Northwest Nazarene against number 3 Western Washington. There's that last runner on the baseline that was scored there by Northwest Nazarene's Emma Clark as we take it to break. Back with second quarter action after this on GNAC.TV. Jumper on the baseline there by the player of the year, Avery Albrecht, missed, but McKenna Emerson, right place, right time. Johnny on the spot, if you will, for the putback. Northwest Nazarene, on the strength of that bucket, leads it by 2 as we start the second 10-minute period here at Brougham Pavilion. Rogers mid-block on the left, goes in with a rolling right-hander, no good, but Schwecke is there to clean it up and score the bucket.
That's already 5 rebounds in this game for Anna Schwecke as she leads all players in boards.
Out high left, Emerson, long 3, bounces off, no good. Well, there's her 6th. And a travel called as Bland coming out of backcourt. Apparently mishandled the basketball a little bit. You can see the dismay on her face as the turnover gives the ball back to NNU with 9:31 left. So just 30 seconds, not even deep in quarter number 2. Throw in. Eubanks now out high to Emerson. Handles the ball a lot. That was Hansen. And they work it back out to Emerson, to Hansen across the top. Far side to Eubanks. Penetrates, goes in with a left-hander, a little bit too strong. Flying in, coming up with a rebound. That was Albrecht. Gets it to Emerson, goes in again, and this one also will not go. Rebound tipped, and this time the Vikings come up with it. Forecourt. Now, they're going to work it down to Rogers now. Out to Bland. And she hits the 2 on the right baseline, just inside the three-point line.
That is the first made three-pointer we have seen in this game. Neither side able to hit one from deep in the first quarter. They started a combined 0 for 6 from beyond the arc.
I thought they're going to make it a two-point shot because the official here on the near side clearly called it a 2, so 19-17. They had it listed on the board for a minute as a 3. Down low, boy, I don't know what Emerson was doing. I don't know if that was a pass or a shot, but it goes back to Western as the Vikings have the lead. Looking to extend here. It's taking the baseline, Dykstra, Bland, Castaneda. Takes it towards the baseline left to Rogers. Long shot, bounce off the rim. Free throw line left for Rogers. Couldn't get it to drop.
She's been taking a ton of shots in this game. Over half of Western Washington's shots taken by Kelsey Rogers at this point.
And Albrecht goes inside, lost the basketball, came up with it, puts it up, misses it again, and Schwecke, 7th rebound.
Still yet to see Duff or Vias re-enter this game, both dealing with 2 fouls. It'll be interesting to see at what point in the second quarter these coaches re-enter those players.
Yeah, if they do, I guess. Down low, Schwecke, open lane, good. Entry pass to Anna. Anna turned and just shot it quickly. Didn't play around with the basketball, and there just went up strong and scored the bucket to give the Vikings now a 21-17 cushion. Right corner, Eubanks with the basketball. Looks for a little help to a cutting Albrecht, puts it up, missed it again. Gets her own rebound. They work it left. Long 3 on the way and draining it from the left side. Haley Hansen.
Now these 6 offensive rebounds so far for the Nighthawks are starting to reap their benefits. Second chance bucket like that's huge.
Down low, Schwecke. Left hand hook in the lane as Eubanks went down. And Western back up by 3. Albrecht with the basketball. Dykstra on her defensively. They work it to Eubanks, goes in the lane, puts up the shot, misses it. Offensive rebound to Emerson. She went up, had the shot blocked by Rogers out of bounds. I don't know if they'll call that a block or not. The ball was just knocked away from her out of bounds. And with 6:36 to go in the opening half, we've come to a stoppage in play. So let's go ahead and step aside. It is the visitors, number 3, Western Washington, over number 2, Northwest Nazarene. 23-20 in the first women's semifinal here of the 2020 GNAC Women's Basketball Championships on GNAC.tv. Schwecke with the pass and goes with that left-handed hook in the lane. And I want to apologize right now. Thanks for pointing that out, Dustin. My buddy Steve Shaw was getting a little bit of love from me here courtside tonight. Steve Steele is the head coach of Northwest Nazarene. Steve Shaw is a guy I know. Steve is not the coach of Northwest Nazarene. Steve Steele is, and he does a great job. Entry pass inside, ball tipped away. Western comes up with the steal. Not the Steve Steele, but the steal. 6:20 left, opening half. Left angle, Dykstra back out high to Bland. They work the perimeter, but boy, nice quick hands by Hansen. Steals it away, and she brings it down floor with a behind-the-back dribble. And she behind-the-back dribbled it right to Bland on this steal. Back the other way. Lexi pull up in the lane, a runner good.
There's a lot of back-and-forth turnovers on these last few possessions. All in all, we've now seen 12 in this game, 6 aside. So both sides not taking the best care of the basketball right now, but it's not egregious to have 6 at this point.
5-point lead for the Vikings. Bad shot, missed long at that time by Emerson. And now here is Bland. Gets away from Emerson, takes it towards the left side, leaves behind her for Dykstra, slashes in, lays it in. That was an impressive drive by Avery Dykstra. Northwest Nazarene to Albrecht, forecourt left, drive inside, reverse lay-in good. Avery Albrecht, player of the year, showing why right there. Katrina Jamaica is back in for the Vikings. And ball lost on the far side. Turnover back to Northwest Nazarene. Also in for Western Washington. Madison Coleman, junior out of Sacramento, is in playing. Emerson going to check out for Northwest Nazarene as Jordan Pinson comes back in. And she has the basketball right there. It is Olsen, Molly Olsen on her. Albrecht gets the handoff, pulls up, long one on the right side. Good, that's a 2-point shot. 3-point game. Here is Olsen down floor, free throw line. Oh, good idea trying to get it down low to Rogers, but give a lot of credit to Nicole Gall there. She was able to get her hands on it. Watch right here. Olsen, good pass, and Gall just got that, or not, actually not Gall. Eubanks got her hand on it. Here's a runner in the lane, though, as Western does get the score as Bland with the basketball. Western with the lead. Northwest Nazarene with the basketball, and Albrecht with it in her hands. Out high right. Here is Eubanks, takes it inside, shoots the shot. Is she going to be called in the act of shooting? Yeah. I wasn't sure if maybe the contact occurred before she got the shot away. But no, the Vikings going to see Katrina Jamaica pick up the foul. And again, just the first foul here. We've got more than 5 minutes, nearly 6 minutes, and this is the first foul in quarter number 2. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, in quarter number 1, we had about 8 fouls at the 5-minute mark.
Yeah.
So very different, and that happened yesterday as well. A lot of fouls early on, then it started to even out as the game went on. So it's all very dependent on the quarter. Teams will adjust to how officials are calling them.
Eubanks hits 1, hits 2. And with that, change made as Hansen out. Emma Clark back in. A couple of freshmen flopping positions there as Clark back in. Olsen down floor with the basketball. Takes it towards the right side. On the wing, it goes to Bland. Crossover dribble, takes in the lane, pulls it up, misses the shot. Offensive rebound, Rogers fouled inside. Rogers is playing maybe one of her best games of the year on both ends of the floor. She'll now get the opportunity to step up to the free throw line to see if she can add to her total. Here is the Bland shot fading off to her left. Rogers there, and Eubanks slapped her across the arm. Kelsey Rogers to the free throw line for Western Washington, where she nails the first.
Season high in scoring for Rogers, 19 points. She did it on February 22nd up in Anchorage against the Seawolves in a losing effort. She's already well on her way to that, says she hits the pair of free throws, makes it 12 points on the game for her.
5'7", and she's, I should say 6'1", junior, we should say, so she is back next year. Northwest Nazarene with the basketball in the lane, rolling left-handed hook, no good by Eubanks. Offensive rebound by the Nighthawks. Albrecht, she'll get it back out to the point, and that is Jordan Pinson handling, setting up the offense for Steve Steele's Nighthawks. Shot clock, though, in single digits, and a foul called as Pinson took it off left. And who's the foul on? Well, this one's going to go against Western Washington's Jamaica. Non-shooting foul, and again, we've had very few fouls here in quarter 2. Avery Dykstra going to come back in. Jamaica goes to the bench with her second. So Dykstra, Bland, Rogers, Olsen, and Castaneda on floor. Pinson, left angle for Northwest Nazarene across the top. Albrecht, thought 3. Now resets at the top. Shot clock at 5. She's going to have to do something with the basketball. Down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. Shot blocked, and Western with the basketball. That was a great defensive possession for Western.
Now Olsen knew that they had to get the shot up, so she wasn't worried about getting stuck in the air on a fake and was able to pull away the block as a result. 4th block already this game for the Vikings.
Bland, seesaw dribble, takes it baseline. Ball blocked away from her. Ball loose, scramble, left corner. The Vikings get it, and a foul called. Olsen took it away from Pinson there, and then Pinson whistled for the foul. Ball out of bounds on the end line for Western Washington, leading it by 5. And you can see Aaron Jenkins there at the end of Steve Steele's bench. And here is the inbounds. Jump ball situation. Alternating possession, Northwest Nazarene basketball. So this has been an aggressive game for both teams. I don't think there's much question about that if you've been watching it. Both teams giving no quarter. tonight to their opponent. Mid-floor for Northwest Nazarene, Gall. Off left to Albrecht. Across the top to Pinson. Starts right, goes left, shoots a three, and has it come off the front rim. Bland is there for the flat-footed rebound, and she speeds ahead, gets it up on the angle for the left-hand lay-in by Dykstra. Dykstra going offhand for the deuce. Down low in the lane, going across the lane, and called for steps is Erin Jenkins. Schwecke going to come back in. Rogers going to get a blow, and returning now Emerson. And here is that play by going with that offhand on a fine feed by Bland.
That was actually Gall that got hit with the turnover. Went for the jump stop underneath. Pulled that left pivot foot.
And now Western Washington gets tied up on the alternating possession, and actually Western going to call a timeout there. Now they would have had the ball on the alternating possession had they decided to go that way, but instead they decide to go ahead and call the timeout at the 2:01 mark. We'll keep it here. 33-26 with this 30-second timeout. Coming up at halftime tonight, just a couple of minutes from now, we're going to have the opportunity to speak with Kelly Lindley, Northwest Nazarene University's athletic director, 6th year, 12th year, or she actually spent 12 years in Steve Steele's position, women's basketball head coach. So she knows a lot about this game. We're going to talk to her about this first half, certainly, about the men's and women's team both making the tournament, about Northwest Nazarene University Nighthawks basketball, and sports in general. They've got a fine athletic program there in Nampa. We'll have the chance to talk to Kelly coming up here at halftime. 33-26. I knew I was going to say Crusaders once. They were the Crusaders for so many years. Here is the pass inside, and Schwecke turns. Again, she loves using that left hand, and she's very adept with it, and she hits there and puts it out to a 9-point edge. Back the other way, runner in the lane, ball blocked by Clark off her shot. Western comes away with it. Here's Bland behind the arc. She's going to take it inside, put it up off the back of the rim, just will not go. Northwest Nazarene into the forecourt. Head of the key, the pass goes, and the three-point shot up and good by Claire Eubanks. That's a big shot by the by the Nighthawks.
Western Washington had already established their largest lead yet in 9, and then Bland almost a chance to put it into double figures, but couldn't finish at the iron. NNU a big shot to come back and reel them back in a little bit.
Dykstra, look at the spin move on the inside. Olsen did everything except make the basket, and then on the putback, Schwecke, and she's fouled. And she'll go to the free throw line once again. You can see there the spin move by Olsen, and Schwecke somehow tipped the ball to herself, put it up, and got fouled. She's fouled by Eubanks. So Zoe Wessel's going to come in. Actually, they're going to whistle the foul against Albrecht. I'm a little surprised there. I didn't think she was in on the play, but apparently she was. Free throw by Schwecke is up and good. Now, we talked about this. We thought Western Washington was going to try to use that inside advantage, and they have done so tonight to take this lead of right now 7 points. Schwecke misses the second.
And they've done so on the inside without Emma Duff. She's only played 4 minutes of this game. We haven't seen her in about 15 basketball minutes at this point. Same for Marina Vias on the other side. Neither has played since they got that second foul.
Hansen with the basketball, gets it down low, missing the shot. Wessels on the inside. Inside the final 40 seconds of this first half. About a 13-second differential. Shot clock and the game clock. Shot clock now down to 10. Bland with it out high. Ball tipped away from her. Northwest Nazarene had it for a moment, and it was knocked away by a Western player. So NNU, 18 and a half seconds left in this first half. Trying to pull back a little bit closer as they will take the final shot here. And you hear Steve Steele saying 1 here. Hansen with the basketball. Shot clock down at 5. Albrecht, left side. McKenna Emerson shoots a 3, misses it at the buzzer. Sounds. 36-29 is going to be the halftime count in favor of the lower seeded team. But again, when you're talking 2 and 3, not much difference between them, though the fact Western played yesterday. Here is Lexi Bland with one of her buckets in the first half that helps the Vikings to a 7-point cushion over the Nighthawks of Northwest Nazarene. Brougham Pavilion, the home of Seattle Pacific University, the host site for the 2020 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. Semifinal women, number 1, halfway through. 36-29 is the count. And, well, unfortunately, you can see right there the end of the night for Northwest Nazarene's Erin Jenkins. She's on crutches there. She banged that knee on the floor in a scramble, and we were hopeful that she would be able to come back. Matter of fact, you speculated, Dustin, at one point you thought she would be back, but it looks tonight that her night is done.
Yeah, it might be a bone bruise, something a little bit more serious than I thought. I thought it was just a hard fall to the ground, needed a couple minutes to regain her composure, but looks like that is it for Jenkins. So in the short time she had on the floor, just 4 minutes, no stats to be recorded in this one, and a couple of starters for NNU only recorded 4 minutes in that first half. Jenkins, because of the injury, 4 minutes of play. Vias, the other, only 4 minutes because she was able to pick up 2 quick fouls early on, so she was limited to 3 points on 1 of 2 shooting from the field.
Kelly Lindley said that really that limited the Northwest Nazarene because really Jenkins, one of the 2 inside players, the inside presences, if you will, for Northwest Nazarene, and Western just pounding the ball inside, especially when Jenkins had to lead the contest.
Well, looking at the way they shot in the first half, 25% from the field and 25% from three-point range. Those are going to be 2 players that they're going to be desperately missing throughout this game. As you look at the numbers that they had, Vias on the season shooting 27% from three-point range, Jenkins 35%. We'll see how that factors into the second half and if the Vikings are able to utilize NNU playing without 2 of their key components.
Well, Marina Baez back in to start quarter number 3, but Nicole Gall, 5'9" freshman, is in place of Jenkins. Western with the basketball and the lead to begin this third quarter. Schwecke down low. Bland inside. Lexi puts it up with the left hand and gets it to drop. Lexi Bland, Avery Dykstra, Anna Schwecke, Kelsey Rogers, and Emma Duff is back in for the Vikings. So both players who picked up those 2 quick fouls are back in. Here is Albrecht for Northwest Nazarene. Missed the shot off to the right. Schwecke with a rebound. Then she gets tied up. That was a heady play inside by Nicole Gall. Schwecke got the rebound but brought it down low. And as she did, you can see the missed shot there. Schwecke with the rebound. She spins and right into the arms of Gall, who ties her up for the held ball, and Northwest Nazarene regains the possession. Inbounds to McKenna Emerson, step through, shot blocked by Rogers. And Emerson, well, that's interesting. Apparently Rogers must have been on the end line when she knocked the ball away. So it'll stay NNU basketball. Inbounds to Emerson, guarded by Rogers. Works it inside to the Nighthawks. Right corner 3. It's up and good by McKenna Emerson. One of those freshmen. This is a Steve Steele young squad that's going to be probably a presence in the GNAC Championships for years to come. Baez, of course, one of the players who will not, well, she'll be back too. She's just a junior. Here's a runner on the baseline by Bland, and she gets to the score. Lexi looking a lot more for her shot tonight than she did down floor pass knocked away. She's looking a lot more for her shot tonight than she did last night. Would you concur with that?
Well, I would. Bland only got 9 minutes on the floor last night, and
true.
that's got a lot to do with it. She was feeling a little timid just because of the foul trouble she got into, so she's already at double the number of minutes she was on the floor, and that's helped her offensive production.
There's Albrecht, the lone senior, the player of the year. Got the inbounds, put it up, got fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line. Will Avery Albrecht. Albrecht, 5'10", senior. LeGrand. How did Eastern Oregon University let her get away? Steps up to the line and hits the first. 7-point lead, Western Washington. They have led for the majority of the contest here tonight. And Albrecht hits the next as well. Nighthawks, full court pressure defense. This isn't a surprise. But Valles has to be a little careful. Down floor, Duff takes it. Schwecke, lay in. Well, we're going to see, no, offensive foul. So wave off the basket as inside Eubanks. Claire Eubanks was able to come up with the defensive stop on the pass off by Duff. And that is number 3 on Emma Duff.
So after coming back into the game, does not get much time back on the floor. Remember, she missed the entirety of the second quarter and half of the first quarter before coming back on. And I think one of the officials gave a bench warning to Western Washington after Carmen Dolfo came out onto the floor.
Gracie Castaneda going to come in, and Duff goes back to the bench. Sometimes that early foul difficulty just plagues you throughout the game. You never get in your rhythm. I think that might be the fact for Duff tonight. Valles, forecourt. They work it to the head of the key. Marina gets it back. Out to the top again to Eubanks. Looks to get inside, can't. Valles back out, mid-floor, shot clock, single digits. Marina up and under with the shot, missed it. Rebound on the inside, taken down by Castaneda. Off to Albrecht. Or we should say Dykstra, I should say. Dykstra down floor, guarded by Albrecht. Down low. Boy, that's a big mismatch as Schwecke got matched up with Valles on the inside. 6'3" on 5'10", and she scores it. 8-point lead for the Vikings.
The other two posts for Western Washington stepping up big in the absence of Emma Duff. Rogers, Schwecke with a combined 24 points in this game, 12 each, 8 boards as well for Schwecke.
Albrecht slashes, right-hander up, good little counter, and she will go to the free throw line. That was an impressive drive by Avery Albrecht. You can see it just goes across the key, puts it up, and gets the drop with the right hand on a little English. She put off the glass there and drew the foul on Albrecht, her first, or we should say on Dykstra, her first. Albrecht free throw, in and out, no good.
Well, this is where Albrecht's really gotten her production done tonight. 6 of her 12 points at the line, only shooting 3 of 11 from the field right now. So when she is able to get herself to the free throw line, able to calm things down and hit her shots, been perfect before that miss at the stripe.
Gall trying to front Rogers in the post. And here is Bland inside and went by Gall and scored the basket. Baez in the forecourt. Off left. Emerson. They work it to Baez, now take it to the right side. Albrecht with the basketball. Bland comes out on her defensively to Baez. Again, shot clock in single digits, and I don't think this is what Steve Steele wants his team to do. And here is Baez, goes inside, and ball stripped away. Good defensive play there by Dykstra, and then she lost it. Albrecht 2-on-1 back the other way, up and under, missed it. Baez had the rebound for a moment. Ball tipped out of bounds, went off a Nighthawks player, and it'll be back to Western Washington. Molly Olsen going to come in and is going to be going to the bench for a moment, at least Avery Dykstra. And here is Katrina Jamaica, and Rogers gets a blow. And here's that last play. Yep, it went right off the shin of Baez, back over to Western. Lexi Bland down floor. She is such a skilled ball handler. Goes inside, pass on the baseline. Jamaica circles, gets it to Schwecke, lays it up, missed it, but she'll go to the free throw line again. Western Washington trying to extend this potentially to a double-digit lead here. As for Northwest Nazarene, Haley Hansen back in, and she'll replace Emerson. And Schwecke back to the free throw line for Western Washington. Once again, one of the key components inside, and when you have one of your bigs who can not only score inside but hit consistently from the free throw line as she is doing here tonight.
This is to get it to double figures for the first time. There it is.
46-36 and 4 minutes gone here. third quarter. Northwest Nazarene, the 2 seed, Western, the 3 seed, around a screen. Baez. Down, mid-block, near side. Back down, spin, shoot, and missing the shot inside is Eubanks. Rebound Western. Bland out of backcourt. Has Schwecke running on the floor. Instead, she pulls up, shoots, misses it. Rebound taken down. Hansen for Northwest Nazarene. She'll bring out of backcourt herself. Now handed off to Baez. She's the quarterback of this squad, no question about it. Out on her is Castaneda defensively around a high pick. Boy, oh boy, that's going to be a foul. It's got to be on Castaneda, does it not? I thought Eubanks had a nice screen set, and she did.
Yeah, Castaneda barrels right through it. That miss on the other end, by the way, for Bland, that is the first missed field goal of this quarter in this half for Western Washington. They started 4 of 4 from the field before that.
That'll win you a lot of ball games, that kind of shooting. Baez baseballs it. They work it into the right side. Back out to Albrecht. Has a screen to her left. Goes away from it. Pass. They work it out high. Eubanks slashes inside. Left hand laying off the glass for 2. Back into a single-digit lead for Western as Olsen advances up floor. Albrecht comes up to D up on her. Across the top to Bland. She and Baez tangle up. Left corner, Olsen 3, good.
That is the first made three-pointer we've seen from Western Washington in the game. Only the third one they've taken.
And that also gives the Vikings their big lead at 11. Baez down the right side in traffic, and she's fouled. Olsen did a pretty good job defensively there, but got Baez on the arm or on the body as she made the penetration, and she'll go to the free throw line, but not before we have a timeout on the floor. 4:23 left to go. Here is the shot by Olsen, that three-pointer, the first from Olsen tonight to give the Vikings their big lead, which they enjoy right now, 49-38. 4:23 left to go in this third on GNAC.TV. Basketball is kind of a simple game by the numbers, is it not?
It depends on the day. Right now, as you look up and down this, we understand very clearly why there's an 11-point disparity in this one. 52.8% shooting from the field for Western Washington, NNU nearly half that, 27.3%. 8-2, the block differential in favor of the Vikings, and then points in the paint, 28-12.
And Baez misses the front of the two-shot opportunity. She misses them both. So when things go bad, sometimes they go from bad to worse, and that's what's happened there for Northwest Nazarene on that particular possession. Bland around the screen, head of the key, tees up the 3 and hits. Wow. Western last year in the tournament, and here's Baez down floor. They started to show signs, but boy, they're playing well here tonight. Here's a runner in the lane up. Are they going to count the basket, or are they going to call an offensive foul? Offensive foul against NNU. And that foul called on Emerson is her third. Albrecht going to head to the bench for Northwest Nazarene. Clark comes back in. Down floor, Castaneda with the basketball. Spins out to the right side and gets it out to Bland, who's played a spectacular game here tonight. Around the high, Rogers pick. She going to shoot another 3? No. Work it off to Jamaica, down low, Rogers laying. Well, Western Washington right now, they are fully in sync offensively, doing great ball movement. And here's a foul. I think Jamaica going to be guilty of the foul on Clark as Emma made a penetration. That is now the 5th team foul on the Vikings. Northwest Nazarene has only committed 2 here in quarter number 3. And Katrina Jamaica comes out. She's coming out a little bit gimpy as well. Looks like she might have twisted an ankle or something as she hits to the bench. Here's that last play. Goes inside, and yeah, you saw it right there, and that was a great look by our crew. That right ankle kind of wobbled a little bit as she went down. Free throw good, but still a big Western lead of 15. Next free throw by Clark up, and it bounces in and out. Northwest Nazarene not helping themselves. They weren't a good free throw shooting team. You said that, Dustin, at the outset. And tonight, unfortunately, they're living up to that reputation.
Yeah, it's been 5 misses at the line, squandered opportunities for points.
And there's Rogers with a travel.
Yeah. Got herself in the air, didn't know where to go with it, so just put it down, and they're going the other way.
Northwest Nazarene with the turnover. 3:11 left, so there's still plenty of time in this one. And we have seen double-digit leads overcome throughout this tournament this year. Valles with the basketball behind the back, left to right, and goes out to Emerson. McKenna goes inside, throws it out right into the hands of Olson. Lob up ahead. Castaneda runs the floor, shot blocked. Boy, that's a great defensive play by Valles. Northwest Nazarene going to bring it back down floor. Eubanks with it into the forecourt. Cross course it out high, left. Valles goes inside, lost the ball, had it knocked away from her, and that offensive foul, I believe, going to be called on Valles, or ball just out of bounds?
I think we're just going with an out-of-bounds call, so we're heading the other way. Just caught off of her leg when she was heading underneath the hoop.
Back the other way. Here's that great play. Boy, Valles went up and made a nice block there, but Northwest Nazarene not able to convert on the other end.
That's a combined 11 blocks we have seen in this game. Now, 8 of them belong to Western Washington, but still a high volume for these two teams. Western Washington's led the conference, averaging a little over 5 a game.
Steal by Northwest Nazarene at midcourt as Albrecht now gets it down low. Eubanks inside, and she's bumped and fouled by Rogers. So Claire Eubanks back to the free throw line. And she'll have 2 shots coming here. 54-39, as you can see the score. Northwest Nazarene well off their season pace in terms of point production here. Again, as we talked about it, 78 points a game during the regular season. They're going to have to really turn it up if they're going to get anywhere close to that tonight, as the first free throw is up and good. That's a help by Eubanks as she knocks in the free throw. Changes going to be made here by NNU momentarily. Eubanks tees up the next and misses that as well. Steve Steele not going to be very happy about that. Now again, as we saw in that Seattle Pacific game, Northwest Nazarene probably still likely to get into the regional, but again, maybe not. And here is the steal by NNU. Up ahead to Valles. Looks and hands it off to Eubanks. I thought she was going to cast from 3, decided against it. Goes to Valles, out high right. Albrecht into the corner. Penetration, lay-in. Coming up short on the shot, Clark. Vikings with a rebound. And they get it off to Bland. That is exactly who the Vikings want to have the ball in their hands. What do you think? How big would a loss be for NNU here?
Well, so looking at the way it's set up right now, NNU in the number 5 spot in the regional rankings. Western Washington at 7, and then the only one that's got a shot right now, Central Washington at 10. I think the only way NNU could not possibly go is if Central Washington beats Western Washington in the GNAC Championship to earn the automatic berth. Alaska Anchorage, of course, is going to go. And then at that point, if Western Washington's 2-1 against NNU, that would give them the upper hand for that 3rd GNAC spot. Because, again, we've talked about sending 4 GNAC teams. That's a lot to ask for, and you got to have a huge resume to be able to pull that in.
Ball stripped away from Western on the inside, and Albrecht out of backcourt to Valles to the right side. Can't get a shot away. I tell you, the Vikings' defensive retreat tonight has been very, very good, holding the Nighthawks out of any kind of transition opportunities, but now we have a foul on the inside. Castaneda that time got caught up on a switch with the taller Eubanks on the inside, trying to post her up, and called for the foul. And for the Vikings, it is Avery Dykstra back in, and Olson going to go to the bench. Here's that last play, and you can see the grab right there. At the free throw line, Eubanks, who was 1 of 2 from the charity stripe a minute ago, and she hits the front end here with 1:03 left. Again, this 3rd quarter, we're just outside the final minute of it. Eubanks next, and this is good. First trip for 2 straight for NNU in a long time here tonight. Bland, solid point guard for the Vikings into the forecourt, left to right across the top. Works it to Castaneda. Out to Duff, who is back in, 3 fouls in all. Off to Bland around a high pick, takes it left, shoots a three, and it's going to be a little bit too strong. Rebound. Northwest Nazarene Eubanks to Baez. Final 30 seconds of this third quarter. And driving inside Baez in traffic, and she gets the shot to drop. So a couple of big buckets cuts the lead back to 10 with 20 seconds left. Full court pressure, but a quick pass up ahead to Castaneda eludes Baez. 12 on the shot clock as Bland is going to go to work around a high Rogers screen. Looking inside, and she just throws it out of bounds. She was looking to get it into the corner, I believe, to Castaneda, but with 5 seconds left, Northwest Nazarene with an opportunity to maybe get off a quality shot. Schwecke coming back in for Rogers. Here is Baez with 3. She's going to speed into the lane, put it up at the buzzer, and it'll not go. And we are through 3 complete here at Royal Brougham Pavilion. And with 3 in the books, it is the third-seeded Western Washington Vikings on top of the number 2 Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks. One of the reasons for it is the play there of Lexi Bland, who knocks in a 3 for the Vikings as they lead by 10. Fourth and deciding quarter to come here on GNAC.TV. Royal Brougham Pavilion, the site of the GNAC Championships. I'm Robert Lowry and Dustin Daniel alongside. Northwest Nazarene down by 10. There's a great look. Dave Haglund to the right, Stu Gorski to the left. Dave, the commissioner of the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, and Gorski, the director of officials. He himself was a longtime official. Had a chance to talk with Stu a little bit today. He's enjoying that role, certainly. Here's Bland, head of the key, guarded by Emerson. Off to Castaneda and Dykstra. So 3 guards starting this fourth for Western, with Duff, who puts it up on the baseline, misses it. Schwecke after the rebound, tips it to a teammate, and now the entry pass into Schwecke off her fingertips out of bounds.
You know, thinking about Stu watching a game like this, I wonder how much of the game he's able to take in and know the actual storyline of the basketball game, or if he's watching the rotation of the officials on the outside, seeing how they call everything.
Well, I think he is watching the officials, and he has picked a very veteran crew for both the men's and women's action. They've done a great job here, I think. Here is a penetration by Dykstra off the window. So it's back into an 8-point game. Bland going to bring it down floor. She's really been a settling influence for the Vikings here tonight. Whenever the Nighthawks have made a run, she's been able to settle them down with a shot or an assist. Now here's a long 3, in and out by Castaneda. She follows and it ties up the Nighthawks. However, Northwest Nazarene will have the ball in the alternating possession. Had a chance to talk to Stu just a bit today, as I mentioned. I also saw another veteran official who is now retired, Bob Holloway, who is here enjoying the basketball. Had a chance to talk to him. He was a GNAC official for years and years and years, and a good one as well. I think he is still here. He was here just a few minutes ago. I saw him at halftime here tonight. So he's taking in basketball, still enjoys it. Here is Baez around a high screen, a second screen. That's going to be an illegal screen on the second screen. Steve Steele, I'm not so sure, concurs with that. He barks out some instructions to Baez, though. And here it is, Baez around the first screen, around the second.
Yeah, caught the edge of her.
So Western with the basketball as the Vikings into the forecourt. They work it quickly around the perimeter to the left corner. Back to Dykstra, penetrates, baseline, Schwecke, Land missed it, gets her own rebound, and a lot of contact on the inside, players on the floor. Eubanks was there, Baez was there, foul against the Nighthawks. You can see Schwecke missed it, came up short, got her own rebound. Eubanks fouled on the reach-in. Nearly tied up Schwecke, but got her across the arm. Non-shooting foul, but already 2 fouls on the Nighthawks here in the fourth quarter. Inbounds, bad inbounds pass. Can Bland save it? Yes, she can. Great hustle play by the Ellensburg senior.
Really didn't think Bland had a shot at getting at that one. If anything, I thought it might be a fast break going the other way. Good work by the point guard to keep that alive.
Here's Dykstra, slashing drive inside. Baseline, it goes to Rogers. Pull up, a little bit too strong, or make that Duff Ball tipped out of bounds. It'll go back over to the Nighthawks. Little shoe repair being done there by Northwest Nazarene's McKenna Emerson. I'm surprised that doesn't happen way more often than it does.
Looking at the numbers between the third and the fourth quarter for Western Washington, they went 7 of 10 from the field in the third period. They already have more misses here in the fourth as they start 0 of 4 from the field than they did the entirety of the third. We're only 2 minutes in.
Nice penetration and a left-hand lay-in on the near side by Gall. So back to a 6-point cushion. Bland, forecourt, off left to Olsen, penetrates, picks it up, gets it to Schwecke inside, and ball knocked away from her out of bounds. Eubanks there defensively. Avery Albrecht, player of the year, back in for Emerson. Albrecht has been a little bit quiet tonight offensively.
Well, she does have 14 points, but you factor in 9 misses, and it really brings it down. 4 of 13. So not the most efficient 14 points in the world. 27 minutes, 4 boards, and assist, 3 steals and a block.
Defensively, she has played quite well. Shot clock at 5. Dykstra fouled as she made a drive on the right lane. There's a good look at Avery Dykstra. Third team foul, and Western Washington University, as you mentioned, has the better of it at the free throw line, especially if they get into the bonus here. Inbounds. Bland, runner in the lane, good. How many of those we've seen tonight? A half dozen? Something like that. Bland, she's had a lot of those.
Yeah, Bland is having a great game. She leads all scores, 17 points now, and that's a big field goal for the Vikings. It's their first of the fourth quarter. Remember, this was a 16-point lead at one point. It got down to 6.
Here's a pass that's knocked away. Gall was trying to get it inside, I think, to Eubanks. Or actually to another Nighthawk player. Inbounds to Gall. Goes right. This time it is Eubanks on the perimeter. 5 on the shot clock. Vaya's going to have to do something with it. Goes behind the back. Pull up. Long shot. And she is fouled. Bailed out with 1 on the shot clock on the foul by Avery Dykstra. We have seen that happen 3 times in the tournament that I can recall, and maybe more than that, where with 1 tick remaining on that shot clock, a foul has given a team an opportunity to shoot free throws.
That has been a big part of these GNAC championships, yeah. And for NNU, a turnover there turning into 2 points is huge. Got to hit your free throws. At 6:48 left, you can't afford any misses anymore.
Well, what are they at the free throw line tonight now?
With that miss, 15 of 22.
They hit the second, 16 of 23, so right around their season average. Down floor, Olsen with the basketball. Ball knocked away, picked up by the Nighthawks. Down floor, Gall with the basketball. Off right to Dykstra. Or we should say to Albrecht. Albrecht off to Baez. Around the pick by Eubanks. Got to be careful not to pick up the illegal pick there. Off left to Gall. Can't get a shot away. Goes to Clark. Baseline corner to Albrecht. Shot clock at 2. Puts it up at the buzzer and it goes in.
That was an impressive play. We've seen a couple of tough layups that Avery Albrecht is able to make look easy. A couple of reverses, a couple of no-looks as she's fallen away from the bucket. There's a reason why she was the Conference Player of the Year.
5-point game now, and as you mentioned, this is a big run by the Nighthawks. Olsen off left to Dykstra. Down low, Rogers. She's been quiet in the second half and misses the shot there, and Baez with the rebound. Rogers on her defensively, didn't allow her to get away cleanly. Now Baez down floor. The Barcelona Spain product throws that out of bounds.
Going back into the end of the third quarter to now, this has been a 13-2 NNU run. Very timely push from the Nighthawks as they get back in this.
Well, they were 22-6 on the year, so again, they split the season series with Western, but saying that, this is a quality team, though young, and it's right now a 5-point contest with 5.5 left. Bland, the senior point guard, On her is Albrecht, their fellow senior. Pass off left. Duff with the basketball, tied up for a moment. Step through and pass on the angle to Bland. Once again, shot clock inside 5. Bland steps through and, well, missed the shot. Went down hard. Nighthawks basketball. Albrecht with it. I thought she was thinking 3 for a minute, but she gets it back out to Vias. That's probably the right play here with just inside 5 minutes left in the game. Make sure you get a good possession here. Vias takes it across the top to Emerson. McKenna drives, shoots, misses the shot. Rebound taken down by Duff. Duff, despite foul difficulty tonight, has played well. Now here is Bland. She's played really well. Penetrates, gets it down low. Rogers laying good.
That's a really good pass from Lexi Bland. She's got runners on either side. Sees Rogers on that left block. Take a cut inside of the defender. And before the defender is able to react, Bland has the pass in for the layup.
And that bumps the lead back out to 7. Emerson with a 3. Boy, I tell you, if there was a 3-point shot needed, it was there, and Emerson delivered. Matter of fact, that was first-class mail from the outside for the triple. And here's Bland going to try to answer the other way. She's not able to do so, and Albrecht comes down with a rebound. Weaving dribble out of backcourt. Boy, she had an open player down floor. Wasn't able to get the pass off, though, to Gall. Vias resets the team at the left point. Across the top. Here is Eubanks inside and fouled by Schwecke.
Well, chance to make it a one-possession game now.
And the foul on Duff. Boy, oh boy. Now Emma Duff has 4 personal fouls with 3:38 remaining in the contest, and we've come to a timeout. 4-point game, free throws to come for the Nighthawks of Northwest Nazarene here on GNAC.TV. Here's Emerson with that last 3-point shot. Boy, that was a big one. Big one, and now at the free throw line. Once again, the opportunity here to get it to a single possession game, as you mentioned, as Eubanks, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, steps up now to shoot 2 times. Not a lot of fouls so far. 3 for Northwest Nazarene as Eubanks hits the first. 2 against Western Washington. So I guess at this point, kind of doubtful we're going to get into the double bonus, certainly.
Well, no double bonus.
Or we should say the bonus situation, I should say. We may, but I don't know if that's going to happen unless it comes to a foul situation here. 3:30.
This tight of a game, it very well could.
Yeah, I guess you could still. But good defense being applied right now by Northwest Nazarene. But boy, oh boy, Rogers gets away from her defender, gets a brilliant pass, and the Vikings back up by 4.
And Rogers early on in the game was creating her own shots, those baseline jumpers. The last couple times down the floor, it's been her teammates finding her from the opposite side as she runs into that left block.
Here's Albrecht, drive inside, missed the shot, goes to the free throw line, however. Albrecht tonight from the free throw stripe. She's been solid too at 6 of 7. The foul on Olsen is her second. Now each team with 3 team fouls here in the fourth. And there is Albrecht hitting the first free throw. Gracie Castaneda going to come back in for Western Washington here. If Albrecht makes his free throw, which she will not do. Duff comes down with the rebound. Odd game now on the scoreboard. A 3-point contest for Western as Bland with a seesaw dribble into the forecourt off right. Dykstra headed the key. Ball tipped away by Valles. Scramble for the loose ball. Olsen tracks it down in the backcourt. Shot clock continuing to roll at 10 seconds into the forecourt. Bland headed the key. Goes left. Shot clock at 4, at 3. Olsen up and down on. Not able to get a shot away on great defense by Valles.
Now Olsen got herself in the air wanting to put up last-second desperation shot. Couldn't get anything off, held on to it. Easy traveling call.
30-second timeout being called here, so let's keep it right here with 2:34 remaining. And again, Northwest Nazarene has made this comeback, and we want to talk about this again. Without Erin Jenkins, who has played only 4 minutes tonight, she banged up that right knee. She came out of the halftime locker room on crutches, that right knee heavily bandaged for the Northwest Nazarene University starters. So hats off to Steve Steele's crew, because without one of their bigs on the inside, they still have been able to battle from a double-digit deficit back down to just a 3-point game.
Yeah, this is a game they've played without their third leading scorer, Erin Jenkins, averaging 12 points a night, had started all but one game this season. And early on, gets that banged-up knee, has to take a seat. So looking at the difference for NNU, the two halves, it was all about shooting percentage. They shot 25.7% in the first half, 47.1% on 8 of 17 shooting here in the second half, which is right around where Western Washington has been for the second half as well. But NNU taking care of business, also taking much better care of the basketball, 18-12, the turnover differential between these two sides going in favor of the Nighthawks.
Surprisingly, Northwest Nazarene, an extremely low assist total, just 4 here tonight. You surprised by that? I am.
Well, looking at NNU's numbers for the season, they're averaging over triple that, but they haven't been one of the better teams in the conference as far as assists are concerned. But yeah, you'd think they'd be distributing a little bit more than this for any team, even if you're the worst assist team in the conference. 4 is going to be a low number.
Baez with 2.5 left into the forecourt. Dykstra has her defensively. Baez mishandled the basketball, manages to retrieve it and bring it back out high. Both teams have gone deep into the shot clock here tonight. Baez headed the key. Off left, Gall moves to the free throw line, takes down the right angle, lost the basketball, just picked away by Duff. I'm not sure if Gall was shooting or passing there, to be honest, but the ball got loose and Western was able to come up with that turnover. Castaneda to Duff, back out to Bland. She'll try to settle the Vikings, 1:45 in the game. Off left, Duff down low, Rogers turns, shoots, and misses the shot at point-blank range.
Gotta have that. At this juncture of this game, you gotta have those easy buckets.
But Northwest Nazarene throws it away, and Bland takes the ball away from Albrecht. Now Bland gonna penetrate, baseline doubled up on the wing to Duff, out to Castaneda, and they're gonna bring out Lexi, and she'll reset the offense with Emerson on her. 10 now on the shot clock. 5-second count. McKenna Emerson, closely guarded call, turns over Lexi Bland. And boy, look at Carmen Dolfo there. Not happy about that turn of events. You heard Steve Steele in the background. Maybe you might have been able to hear him on our microphones calling for the 5-second call, and the officials concurred. They said, I don't know if they said you're right, but they agreed with him. And the turnover gives it back to NNU as we're close to the 60-second mark. Down low, Albrecht going to work on the inside. Cross-court pass. Moving inside. Eubanks inside, misses the shot. Gets her own rebound, puts it up and in.
1-point game. Momentum in favor of the Nighthawks right now. If you're the Vikings, you need a bucket this trip down the floor.
Duff down floor. Off to Bland, and well, not surprisingly, Western Washington is going to take a timeout right here. 48.8 seconds on the clock, 22 on the shot clock. There is a drive by Eubanks. Well, I'll tell you one thing. She powered it up after getting the offensive rebound with the left hand and scored it 60-59. When you look at the two previous contests, 94-83 Western Washington, 79-72 Northwest Nazarene. We're way off that. 60-59 right now, as this has been a defensive battle tonight.
And neither of these teams are going to get anywhere near their season average in scoring. But when we look, there's been so many turnovers in this game. 19 for Western Washington, 14 for NNU. Whichever one of these teams gets onto the championship, that's going to be the big thing to focus on, taking care of the basketball going to tomorrow. Whether it's Central or Anchorage that they have to face on Championship Saturday, you have to take better care of the basketball than this if you want to win a GNAC title.
Well, University of Alaska Anchorage goes by the moniker Mayhem. We talked about this yesterday just a bit, Dustin. And again, they just love to turn you over, and we're going to see that in the nightcap here tonight, how Central is able to handle the pressure of UAA on the women's side. Steve Steele calling the defense here. Bland gets the inbounds. Northwest Nazarene will get another shot regardless. And here is Bland around the screen off left. Duff down low to Rogers, turns, goes inside, shoots, and makes it. 62-59, a three-point game with 34 seconds as Baez into the forecourt. You go three, I don't know if you do here or not. But the way Northwest Nazarene playing deliberately, they may, and there's a foul called off the ball. Well, now that might work actually for Western. Non-shooting foul.
Yeah, that's their last one to give. Here's the thing, if you're Northwest Nazarene, if you don't take the three here, if you go to the quick two, shot clock's going to be turned off after that. You're going to have to foul.
Oh, yeah.
So if anything, with how Northwest Nazarene's been shooting at the free throw line, I don't know. If I'm NNU, I think you take the three.
Well, we're going to see, but before we do, timeout on the floor. Just 23 seconds left in this one here on GNAC.TV. Northwest Nazarene on the floor, 23.4 seconds left. Emerson, who hit a big three just a few minutes ago. Albrecht, Baez going to be the trigger on the baseline. Also Gall and Eubanks. And inbounds is stolen away by the Vikings and a foul. Oh, baby, what a play by Western Washington there. When you talk about a turnover, there's none bigger than that. And the ball is stolen away by Dykstra on the inbounds.
Dykstra, 5'10", not the tallest player on the floor, but comes up with a huge turnover and could possibly be the deciding factor in this game for the Vikings.
Well, with 21.6 seconds left, the Vikings now certainly are going to get the opportunity to go to the free throw line with a 3-point lead. Northwest Nazarene has to foul. There's no question about it. That foul on Baez was her third.
You're not going to do it right away. On the inbound, you're going to see if you can get a turnover. You can maybe spend 5 seconds or so looking to see if you can get a turnover, because if you're putting someone at the line, then you're going down by 2 possessions. So you're going to try for a quick swipe, but if it's not there immediately, then you go for the foul.
Yeah, I would say 5 seconds at most. At this point, time is not your friend.
No, it is not. This has got to be some extremely tight defense from the Nighthawks.
Baez inbounds, they get it into Rogers, and she is fouled. 19.1 seconds left, and Kelsey Rogers showing a little bit of fire there.
Baez initiated. She put a shove into Rogers right after the play, and so Rogers was responding verbally.
And the official is going to talk things over here as NNU coming back around Steve Steele and Carmen Dolfo huddling up her Vikings as well. And the official is going to come over, and I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be something, I think, about the contact there that you just mentioned.
There'll be, if they issue a technical, there will at least be one on Baez, maybe a double T for Rogers. Rogers didn't physically retaliate, but she did talk back. But they might just leave this one alone, given they got 19.1 seconds left. And that would be, if they gave one technical, those would be some huge free throws. I can't imagine we'd just see one. But
well, regardless of that fact, Kelsey Rogers is going to be going to the free throw line on the 5th foul against Northwest Nazarene with 19 seconds, 19.1 seconds left. And NNU, the number 2 seed, trailing. Western bench there seems pretty calm for the most part. But again, here we are, down to the wire again. Every game in the GNAC, and again, we've had a couple of games when you're going to look at the score, you're going to say, oh, they're a blowout. They were not. There has not been a blowout here. And this one, again, going right down to the bitter end. We got another game to come after this. Central Washington, University of Alaska, Anchorage. And right now, Western looking to advance to the championship as their men did earlier today.
Yeah, if things hold as is, we could very well have Western versus Anchorage on both sides.
That would be something.
Yeah. Have you seen that in your 6 years yet?
I have not. No, I definitely have not. Officials, after a discussion there, and you can see them continuing their confab.
And there's not going to be anything after the whistle, it looks like.
I agree. I agree with that. You know, maybe in the second quarter, maybe, but with 19 seconds left in this semifinal, why? Heat of the moment, let it go. But it is still the fourth foul on Baez. So, again, 19 seconds left. What are you going to do? Keep her on the floor.
Yeah.
Rogers trying to make it, as you mentioned, a two-possession game, and she does.
There it is. Kelsey Rogers, 21 points in this game.
She's been big all night long. Big. Next one. Oh, that's a couple of money free throws there. Baez down floor quickly. Going to take it, kick it off right. Albrecht, 13 seconds left, drives inside, lays it up and in. Timeout by Steve Steele on the Northwest Nazarene bench. 11.1 seconds left. It's a three-point game once again. And as Dustin was mentioning a moment ago, you're going to see the same strategy. Inbounds Western, steal, attempt by Northwest Nazarene, and an immediate foul. In Western Washington, you hit free throws, you win ball games. If you followed GNAC action, have you ever heard me on the mic before? That's something I say frequently, and not because I'm any kind of basketball genius. It's just true. You knock down the free throws, you win the ball game. And Western has done that to this point tonight. Northwest Nazarene, well, that has not been the case for them, as they have missed on 8 free throws tonight. 64-61, running the baseline. Duff going to make the throw and get it in. An immediate foul. Didn't even go for a steal there. Gall knocks it away, or tries to knock it away from Rogers, and Kelsey, who hit 2 just a second ago, going to step up to the free throw line once again. Rogers tonight, perfect from the stripe, has hit 4 of 4, and if she hits 2 more here, that may just about do it with 10.5 seconds left. Toes the stripe with that right foot, knee bend, shoots, and hits. Off the bench for Northwest Nazarene, going to be Haley Hansen coming in for the final 10.5. 2-point game once again. And Rogers makes them both. Northwest Nazarene calls the timeout here. The Nighthawks have used their final timeout here. Western still has a timeout remaining should they choose to use it. This is going to be a 30-second timeout. And Western Washington victorious yesterday over Montana State Billings, 69-54, looking to advance with a win over number 2 Northwest Nazarene. Rogers coming back on floor. What a game she has had here tonight. 24 points, 9 of 16 from the field, and 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Now, Western as a team tonight has been phenomenal at the free throw line, 14 of 16. Baez inbounds, 3. Albrecht on the way, overshoots everything. Rebound taken down by Hansen, shoots a 3, misses it, underneath the hoop. Albrecht lays it up with 2.3 seconds left, 3-point game, inbounds, and the Crusaders decide not to foul, and Western Washington advances tomorrow night's championship contest. Final count here in Royal Brougham Pavilion. It is Western Washington 66, Northwest Nazarene 63. So Western Washington moves on to the championship round tomorrow night. And who will they take on? Well, that has yet to be decided, as the final game of our 4 here tonight, our final semifinal action, is to come. Central Washington, number 5, against top-ranked Alaska Anchorage, the team that really had a tremendous regular season this year. They were not picked to win the conference, but boy, oh boy, did they roar out and come on home with that top seed once again this year behind the coaching of Ryan McCarthy, who is the coach of the year once again this year. We'll see him on floor here. Well, that tip-off was scheduled for 7:30. Dustin Daniel is headed down to the baseline area at our interview post. He's going to have the opportunity momentarily to talk to Western Washington coach Carmen Dolfo after her 612th victory of her coaching career. She's heading down to the location right now, and as she does, we can mention this fact. Western Washington tonight, 14 of 16 from the free throw line, and Rogers 4 big ones to help seal the deal. Now down to the baseline to Dustin and Coach Carmen Dolfo.
First women's semifinals in the book. Western Washington topping Northwest Nazarene. In this one, we got head coach Carmen Dolfo with us. Coach, I think the best way to sum up this one is the Vikings survive Northwest Nazarene. Led by 16, turns into a tight game down the stretch.
I mean, they're a great team, and they're never going to say die, and we knew that. And so I'm really proud of our players, though. They withstood it, their run, and they just did a great job together.
That first half, big for Western Washington to establish that lead and be able to hold off the Nighthawks late. What went right for your team in the first half?
Well, I think our defense really was on the first half, and I think we did a good job of, switching the screens that we needed to. And what went wrong was we couldn't keep them off the boards. I thought NNU just did a great job on the offensive boards, and we're hoping the second half we stop that a little bit.
Looking at the numbers late, close to 20 turnovers in that game. Is that a conversation to be had going into championship Saturday?
You know, NNU plays so hard, and they press you the whole game, and they fly at you, and we were hoping to be under. Our goal was to be under 20 turnovers, and we ended up with 20. Is that what we ended up with? So, yeah, I mean, Anchorage plays the same way. They play hard and aggressive, and they try and trap you, and we definitely need to take care of the ball better.
Well, Coach, congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
That's Western Washington's Carmen Dolfo. Rob, back to you.